Hi, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into the world of football and the undeniable influence of money in the sport. While teams like Porto and Ajax once captured the hearts of fans with their romantic underdog stories, the modern football landscape has changed drastically. Money has created a new football elite, but even with all the resources in the world, winning the Champions League trophy is no easy feat. Just ask Chelsea, who took 9 years under the ownership of Roman Abramovich to claim the title. And despite spending over £1 billion since a Qatari takeover in 2012, PSG has yet to achieve their ultimate dream of winning the Champions League. In fact, their 11th consecutive attempt recently ended in more disappointment. So what went wrong? Today we'll explore the reasons behind PSG's struggles and why, ultimately, money alone can't buy the Champions League. Picture this, and Nasser Al-Khelaifi, the Qatari president of Paris Saint-Germain, is feeling absolutely thrilled, with the World Cup ending in his home country with a mind-blowing final that showcased two of his club's superstar players. He's bursting with confidence. In fact, he's so sure that he makes a bold declaration to the club's staff. 2023 will be our most successful year for PSG. Fast forward to March, and it seems Al-Khelaifi spoke too soon. PSG's already out of the Champions League, and they've lost more matches in 2023 than they did in the entire year before. Talk about a change of direction. The Parisian project began with promise, with a new coach, a new sporting director, and Kylian Mbappe's contract renewal. But these were pillars built on sand. PSG is stuck between two stalls, and it's painful to watch. Imagine mixing water with oil. It's a recipe for disaster, right? That's what happens when you try to combine stars seeking instant success with a longer-term strategy. And that's precisely what we saw on Wednesday, when PSG's group of individuals were no match for the cohesive team performance of Bayern Munich. It was painful to watch as PSG's flaws were laid bare for all to see. Sure, injuries didn't help their cause. The absence of Neymar and the loss of 3 defenders left them frail and unbalanced. But let's be real, this is a result of the club's whole approach in the transfer market. Despite the millions of euros pumped into PSG by Qatar Sports Investments, there's no established core of talent on the bench for coach Christophe Galtier to turn to when things go wrong. Contrast that with Bayern, who had Gnabry, Sane, and Main among their replacements. It's clear that PSG's approach to squad building has been questionable for years. And it's not getting any better. They may have the largest wage bill in football, but their record of 5 Champions League exits before the quarterfinals in 7 years speaks volumes. Despite reaching the final in 2020, PSG has since taken steps back in Europe. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's time for the club to reevaluate their approach if they want to see success. Over the past transfer windows, PSG has said farewell to notable players such as Angel Di Maria, Leonardo Paredes, and Keylor Navas, among others. However, the replacements have been deemed below the expected level, leaving much to be desired. While Nuno Mendes and Mukiele have impressed in their fullback positions, Fabian Ruiz and Renato Sanchez have had mixed performances due to injuries. On the other hand, players like Carlos Soler, Hugo Ekitike, and Vitinha have been considered inadequate replacements for the club's high standards, with Vitinha struggling to make an impact in the team. PSG's market work has also been affected by financial fair play regulations, which have led to limited expenditure on new signings. Despite this, mistakes have been acknowledged by the club's management, with Campos admitting to them during a radio interview in September. However, the issue at hand, as described by a PSG source, is that no one is sure what the final vision for the team should be. It remains to be seen how PSG will move forward and whether they will be able to regain their previous glory. Galtier has been doing his best to work with the squad he inherited, but it's not without its limitations. He's known for being straightforward and well-liked within the club. At the beginning of the season, PSG seemed to be on the right track, going 23 matches unbeaten. However, their hopes for the Champions League took a hit when Benfica thrashed Maccabi Haifa 6-1, causing PSG to finish second in their group and leading to a tough draw against Bayern Munich. The World Cup has undoubtedly had an impact on the team, with Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar all dreaming of lifting the trophy with their respective countries. It was inevitable that at least 2 of them would be left disappointed midway through the season. Neymar's tournament was marred by injury and an early exit, while Mbappe's heart was broken in the final despite his outstanding individual performance. For Messi, however, it was a dream come true. It's understandable if his performance after that feels a bit underwhelming. A lot of PSG's discussions these days revolve around how to build a cohesive team around their star trio. However, Galtier didn't have to face this issue during their match against Bayern, as Neymar's season season had already come to an end due to ankle ligament damage. This meant that Galtier had to rethink his tactics. Initially, Galtier had some success with Neymar and Messi playing behind Mbappe. However, as the new year began, he struggled to find the right formula, and the early good results were overshadowed by some devastating defeats. Galtier didn't create PSG's long-term issues, but some sources consider him weak, as demonstrated by the incident at Lille, and his position is inextricably linked to Campos. Despite having an incredibly talented squad, PSG should be performing better than they currently are. And one source close to the dressing room revealed that Galtier's main priority is maintaining calm and harmony. The main issue in this club feels like a cultural one, stemming from a decade of PSG's focus on bringing in the best individual players without prioritizing team chemistry. But building a strong team isn't easy, and it's something that PSG must work on if they want to succeed in the long run. The dressing room at PSG is far from ordinary, that much is clear. Former high-ranking staff members have spoken out about the lack of cohesive culture, with egos causing friction among players. The issue at hand here is that the players are not always willing to share, be it goals or anything else. While each of them is a fantastic player, it is felt that instead of bringing out the best in each other, they hold each other back. Moreover, Neymar and Mbappe, the two key players, are both best suited to playing off the left wing, highlighting squad-building issues. The bigger question that PSG must answer is what direction they want to take as a club. On the field, they must find a way to emulate the consistency of Bayern, who dominate domestically and are competitive in Europe. Off the field, they are in a pressing need to capitalize on the incredible talent pools in Paris. The progression of Warren Zaire Emissary, just 17 years old, and the inclusion of Bitsaibu suggest an attempt to address this issue. Off the pitch, the PSG project raises some pertinent questions. During a press conference in January, Al-Khelaifi, the club's president, highlighted PSG's expanding international influence. With collaborations such as the 2018 partnership with Jordan and the acquisition of top talents like Messi, PSG has undoubtedly become a marketing phenomenon. As a state-backed endeavor by Qatar, the club's soft power and influence have already been significant. But the question is whether this alone is enough to make the project a success. Al-Khelaifi acknowledged that the team's success hinges on working together. However, the current state of affairs shows a disconnect between the club's sporting direction and its marketing impulses. At best, this disjunction seems to be hampering PSG's progress. In conclusion, PSG's quest for Champions League glory has been hampered by a combination of factors. Despite having assembled a squad of some of the world's best players, they've struggled to build a cohesive team with a shared sense of purpose. While money undoubtedly plays a role in football success, it's clear that it's not the only ingredient. Building a team with a strong culture takes time and effort, and PSG will need to continue to work hard to achieve their ultimate goal. We value your opinion on this topic, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comment section below. We appreciate you for watching, and if you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing to our channel for more captivating content in the future.